Welcome back to another edition of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. We are your hosts. He's the Stallion. I'm the Enforcer. And this week we're here to talk about AEW's Big Double or Nothing. You're probably sitting there wondering, I mean, if you're listening, you're probably sitting there wondering, why is he so subdued? Why is he talking so low? And frankly, I'm not really sure, but it possibly has something to do with the fact that my caffeine has not kicked in yet from my Dog Dad cup, my Dog Dad of the Year cup. Welcome back to another edition of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. Like I said, we're here to talk some AEW Double or Nothing. We weren't sure what to talk about today. It was either going to be AEW's Double or Nothing, a career retrospective of the Velveteen Dream, or the new breaking news of the guy who was recording female workers in the bathroom at WWE. So AEW went out slim margin, buddy, slim margin.
Yeah, we took a poll on Twitter, and with a total of 0 votes, the AEW Double or Nothing has won out. So Double or Nothing is a little over a week from today, so this is an early preview. But the good news is that they have announced the full card for the show, so there should not be many changes to the card over the next week or so before pay-per-view happens.
A fucking great idea, right? Because I'm going to give somebody a hot take. I don't want to upset. Actually, no, I don't give a shit who I upset. Last week or 2 weeks ago, we did Under Siege 2 Dark Territory Impact Wrestling show, right?
Yeah.
And it was 3 days before the pay-per-view, and they announced 4 matches in the last 3 days. That's bad booking. I'm sorry. I don't care. Like, you want to announce one, fine, but like, you want to give people a reason to buy the show. I think AEW has done it the right way. And I mean, on Raw and SmackDown, you don't know what the card is to get to the fucking pay-per-view. And it's like, oh, by the way, there's 9 warm-up matches with Ricochet versus Sheamus. Like, what the fuck? So now we know what we're getting into next week with AEW Double or Nothing, buddy.
That's right. So right now it looks like there are 9 total matches on the card. I don't know which one of those will be on the pre-show or if one of them will be on the pre-show, but there are 9 total matches. And there's a lot of stipulations happening and title matches and things of that nature. So there's a lot on the line on Sunday, May 30th, down at Daly's Place. Yes, Daly's Place in Jacksonville. They are
crowd, right?
Yeah, they're selling for full capacity, which I think is a little over 5,000 people. And from what I heard, they're at close to 4,000 sold so far. So they're expecting that it'll probably fill out by the time the show happens on Sunday, May 30th.
That is fucking awesome. The good news is, if you live in New York, baby, mask mandate is over. Well, unless you want to go to a place next to Joe called the Dublin Deck. I heard you are allowed to not wear a mask as long as you show your papers. So living in a crazy time, man. I don't know what Florida's like. They probably don't give a shit. DeSantis down there just slinging his dick around, whatever he wants to do, man. Florida's living their best life. Well, we benefit from that, baby. We get 5,000 raucous screaming fans at AEW Double or Nothing this week, and I'm looking forward to it. What moment, before we get into their own predictions for the show, what moment this next weekend do you think is going to be, do you think the fans are going to play the biggest role in?
What moment? You mean at Double or Nothing, or just in general?
At Double or Nothing. You know, what do you think having fans there will make the biggest impression on you regarding?
You know what? I guess I would say, well, here's the thing. I don't know if Stadium Stampede is going to be in front of fans or not, because when they did it last time, they did it on the football field and not in Daly's Place. I think if they had fans for that, it would make a big difference. But other than that, I don't know. I think that, I could see the first match that I was going to bring up, which was the Young Bucks and Moxley and Eddie Kingston, I think is something that, the Bucks haven't really been in front of a full crowd yet since they turned heel. Same thing with Omega. So, I mean, I think that could have a lot of potential, both of those matches.
2 words, bro. Wild Thing. The entire stadium chanting, singing the anthem Wild Thing that John Moxley comes out to, channeling his inner Ricky Vaughn. A Wild Thing, Ricky Vaughn. Everybody go back and watch Major League. Speaking of John Moxley, what did you say was the name of his book that he's coming out with, Joe, that you texted me?
I believe it's called Mox. The name of the book is Mox.
That wasn't the fun part. It says, The Book of Zero Fucks, Tales of the Titty Master, Mox. So I am...
It's available for pre-order. right now.
And
If anybody's
you know,
interested.
between Renee Paquette, I should say, she was on Busted Open yesterday. I listened to her. She's like my favorite person. She told Dave LaGreca, she's like, Dave, stop being a pussy. I was like, yeah, you know, they're perfect together. And then she said, working with Vince McMahon was like kicking her in the lady dick, which I was like, you know, 34 years old, buddy. I never heard that before. They go together like peas in a pod, man. I'm excited to read Mox. I mean, I'm also excited for Double or Nothing next weekend. So let's just get right to that.
There you go. All right, so why don't we start with Mox? So we have the Young Bucks defending the AEW Tag Team titles against Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. You know, long story short, there was a lot of background about the Bullet Club reunion, the new version of the Elite, Gallows and Anderson, and then the Bucks eventually doing a full heel turn on Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. And this has been simmering for several weeks since then. So Mox and Eddie are getting a tag title shot here at the pay-per-view.
Mox and Eddie have been my favorite tag team lately in AEW. Their dynamic is hilarious. In the ring, they're kind of like the old school Brody and Hanson, right? They're just bruisers. They just beat the shit out of the guys. Them together, they have such great chemistry. When they stole Nick Jackson's socks and shoes, I mean, at the end of the show last night, it was just great. Smart money here is on the Bucks because Renee Paquette, I don't know what her name is set to have a baby like any day, literally any day right now. So smart money says the Bucks. I'm going with Mox and Eddie Kingston because Kingston was in the world title picture, did not win the world title. I think Eddie deserves a championship, whether it be singles or tag. Nobody better for him to get a title with than Mox. So I'm going to say Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley are your new AEW World Tag Team Champions.
I'm going to go with the Bucks. I think that's where the like you said, I think that's where the smart money is. I do think Moxley, especially if he's going to take some time off, we don't know that for sure, but I'm assuming that he will if Renee has the baby soon. But I think that the Bucks, in the midst of their pretty recent heel turn, should hang on to the belts for a little bit longer here. So I'm going to go with the Bucks of Youth in that one.
The Bucks of Youths. My cousin's name.
Next, we have another tag team match, which is Sting and Darby Allin versus Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. I guess the best way I can describe this is just that Sky and Ethan Page decided to form a team or some sort of unit together, and
Unit.
They were targeting Darby Allin when Darby was TNT champion. Ultimately, Darby lost that title to Miro, who will be on this card a little bit later. So now we're having a tag team match with Sting as Darby's partner against Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page.
Scorpio and Ethan Page really formed, I think it was on Dynamite or not on Dynamite, on Dark or Elevation.
Dark Elevator?
Yeah. What was Matt Morgan's finisher? The Hellevator?
The Hellevator, yeah.
That's close. I almost gave a spoiler. So the thing that's interesting to me is Ethan Page, All Ego, and Darby had quite the feud in Evolve. He murdered Darby in Evolve. He put him in a body bag. He hit him with a shovel. Really, really good stuff. Evolve is IP of the WWE, so they can't use that. So I don't know if they're going to allude to that story, but it was a great story. I was there for a lot of it at La Boom, but you gotta have the bad guys win this one. They threw Darby down a flight of stairs. I know Darby just tapped out to Miro, which I didn't really like the whole giving up thing. Who's going to take the pin, Sting or Darby? Might be, I'm not sure, but you can't have Sky and Ego lose if you want to establish them. So the bad guys win.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was thinking at first. And then I kind of thought about it a little bit more in as far as the angle of, Sky and Page have really gotten the upper hand on Darby and these guys pretty much the whole way, right? Like they were attacking him, they kicked him down the stairs, like you said, they cost him the TNT title. If this is going to be a longer program, which I'm sure that it will be, and it'll probably branch off into a singles match with either Darby and Page or whatever, and of course Sky turned heel on Darby when he lost a TNT title match. I'm gonna go with Sting and Darby. I don't know. I think that Darby is one of the most popular guys that they have in terms of new stars, And I'm just going to say that they get the win here, and I'm sure there'll be more matches to come in this feud going forward.
Okay.
Next up, we'll go with the Stadium Stampede match. So it is the pinnacle of MJF, Wardlow, Shawn Spears, Cash Wheeler, and Dax Harwood of FTR versus the Inner Circle, Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz. And the stipulation here is if the Inner Circle loses, they must disband.
There's a lot on the line here, but I'm going to say one thing. Did you see the vignette with the not the Inner Circle, the
Pinnacle?
Thank you. I was
eating dinner or something like that, and Wardlow chugged a bottle of wine or something like that.
Yeah, and then I like where they're going with Shawn Spears. They're finally giving him something kind of to carve out. He's got he's a hothead, he's a little bit of a temper. I thought that was pretty interesting. Man, I'm so torn on this one because I don't think you disband the Inner Circle because they're so over. Do they get their win back? Does the Pinnacle take a lot? How do you win the Stadium Stampede? It's just a pin, right? It's just clear.
Yeah, as far as I know, I think it's just a pin. I think the last one ended with I can't remember who it was that did a spot, but somebody jumped off of one of the Bucks. I think he jumped off of something through a big table or whatever, and or a big crash pad and on the football field, and that was how that one ended. So that one had all sorts of crazy stuff. Remember, there was like Matt Hardy was in the pool, and like Santana and Ortiz were trying to drown him, and like all these things. So yeah, as far as I know, it's just straight up pinfall, and I think Hangman was riding around on a horse. Like that one was played up for comedy because that was before there were any fans and they were doing all this stuff. So I don't think this one will be as much comedy, especially with what's on the line. I do think it's interesting that they did Blood and Guts first and then did the Stadium Stampede. I would have figured maybe it was the reverse to try to get Blood and Guts over. But I personally think the Inner Circle is going to win. I don't think that they'll disband. Like you said, they're very over. They're very popular. I think those guys are better together than apart. And we also just had SCU disbanding a week or so ago, which I know some people have been a little bit miffed by the fact that they just did a disbanding storyline, and now they're doing another one. But I'm going to go with the Inner Circle to get the win here and even things up.
Yeah, I'm going to go with him this one. Inner Circle all the way. I hope Santana, is he hurt? Do we know what happened to Santana?
I heard he might be sick or something, but I mean, Jericho said last week that he was going to be back on Dynamite this coming week. So I'm going to go with he's going to be okay, and there won't be any issues for him.
Okay, so both Inner Circle. Team IC.
There we go. Next up, let's go with the TNT Championship, not to be renamed the TBS Championship. Miro, his first title defense against Lance Archer.
This is so weird to me. This is very strange booking. You have two monsters. You have Lance Archer, who is, what do they say, always a bridesmaid, never a bride. He's lost every title opportunity he's had. And I think he's going to lose another one, but I have a feeling Miro's going to squash him in this one to really establish Miro's dominance. Kind of sucks for Lance Archer to be in that position, but there's no other reason why I think they would hotshot this so quickly. I think a dominant victory over a monster like Lance Archer would do wonders for Miro and make everybody forget about video game Miro. And now you have murderer Miro. So I'm going to say Miro wins dominantly and pretty quickly.
Yeah, I agree. I think Miro's going to get the win here. I don't see him losing the title this quickly. Archer's been kind of all over the map the last couple of months. I mean, he was a babyface for a little while. Then it seemed like he went back heel. He was interrupting Sting in a bunch of spots. And I don't know if that's been kind of tabled or forgotten about, but now he's kind of slid into this match with Miro. But I think it's just a spot to have Miro look strong and get him over even more. As you said, he's been a lot better the last several weeks with his persona change and kind of moving away from Kip Sabian. So I'm going to say that Miro also will retain the TNT Championship. Next up, we have a singles match. It's Hangman Adam Page versus Brian Cage of Team Taz. This is a rematch from Dynamite a few weeks ago where Brian Cage had decisively beaten Hangman. So this is a rematch for Dynamite, I think maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Well, hold on. He had decisively beaten Hangman, but Hangman was jumped before the match by Team Taz. So I'm going to say Hangman gets his win back here. I think that Brian Cage can afford a loss. I don't know if it's going to be because of Ricky Starks or something like that, but Hangman is probably your next challenger for Kenny Omega, I would assume. So a win over the FTW World Champion Brian Cage is a great spinning forward to that. So that's what I'm going Hangman.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that Hangman's going to get his win back here. You know, when he lost to Cage a few weeks ago, he was a number 1 contender, and then he dropped all the way to number 5 in the rankings. So I think that was maybe an excuse to kind of get him away from, you know, having that immediate title shot against Omega. So I think he's going to get the win here, and he'll, like you said, move back up the rankings and eventually get a match with Omega for the AEW title.
Is Duke on Team Hangman or is Duke on Team Brian Cage?
Duke is on Team Hangman. Yeah, he likes to drink. So
you know what? He's a babyface.
He's drinking right now. Yeah.
My guys are split. Buster and Chance are on Team Hangman. You know Hunter. He's actually Team FTW. He really is Team Fuck the World. So.
He is. We know that for sure.
Team Taz through and through.
We have 4 matches to go. This one's going to take me, I got to get a deep breath before I go through this one. So this is the Casino Battle Royal for a future AEW World Championship match. So here's the names that I have listed on Wikipedia. Christian Cage, Matt Sydal, Powerhouse Hobbs, Penta El Cerro Miedo, Jungle Boy, Matt Hardy, Mark Quinn, Isaiah Cassidy, The Blade, Evil Uno, Colt Cabana, Preston Vance, Griff Garrison, Brian Pillman Jr., Max Caster, Anthony Bowens, QT Marshall, Nick Comoroto, Dustin Rhodes, Lee Johnson, and TBA. I'm just gonna give you my pick. Christian Cage. That's my pick.
Can we just have Duke like drinking
away? I tell you, man. He loves all the pages and the cages and all these, all that stuff.
He's a big fan of Hangman Page, Diamond Dallas Page, Christian Cage. I'm gonna go with TBA. I have no idea who TBA might be, but
Big Show.
That would be fucking awesome. That would be so good, just to really stick it to everybody. I'm gonna go with TBA, and I think TBA is gonna be an Impact person. Duke, I mean, he does not agree with that. I think I'm going to go with TBA, and I think TBA is going to be Sami Callihan.
Okay, fair enough. TBA is always a good choice, I feel like, in these instances. So,
yep.
That's a great call. So now we're going to have, it's no titles in the line in this match, but it's Cody Rhodes against Anthony Ogogo, the governor, as they say.
The governor. Wait, Martin Stone?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Danny Burch.
You know, I'm going to take an aside real quick. What is the other gentleman's name in the Acclaimed? Max Caster's the rapper.
Yep. Anthony Bowens.
I just found out the other day Anthony Bowens is not David Otunga. I don't know if you knew that.
That's going to wind up on the cutting room floor, I feel like.
Dude, I thought he was David Otunga. That's the same guy. So here's what I think. I think Cody, there's no way Cody should be losing to Anthony Ogogo. But they've done a really solid job. Well, they're trying to do a solid job of getting over the liver punch, which is Anthony Ogogo's finisher, which I think is pretty cool. I can't remember. I mean, Crush and who created the hard punch? It's gonna bother me. I know the guy's name.
It wasn't Stan. No, Stan Hansen was a lariat, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna look it up. But Crush got over the hard punch. I like what they're doing.
Is it Stan Stasiak? Stan the Man Stasiak.
Ox Baker and the hard punch. That makes sense because then they had them bring stretchers to the ring. So they're trying to get over something different. I think it's cool. I don't think Cody should be losing, but I feel like I think Anthony Ogogo is going to win because Renee Young Brandy is also pregnant, just like Renee Young is. So if they're getting over the body shot is a kill shot, then they might just have him go left to the body, left to the head, really take out Cody with bare knuckles. So I think Ogogo gets a W here, and really. People want to shit on Cody for cutting these all-American promos and all this stuff being the face of AEW. If he drops an L to Anthony Ogogo, he's not exactly Dusty Rhodes, So yeah, I'm going with Ogogo.
Yeah, I agree with you on that too. I think I think I'm going to go with Anthony Ogogo. And again, part of that is, like you said, because of the fact that I think Cody's going to be taking some time off, and it would probably be smart, similar to how when he got destroyed by Brody Lee and then took some time off to film whatever dopey TV show he's doing and then came back. I think that's what they're going to do here. So I think he'll drop the fall to Ogogo or maybe get knocked out. And then eventually when he takes some time off and comes back, that he will get a win back over Ogogo after he gets built up even further.
Which I think would be fine, getting a win back over Ogogo, because I don't think he should be losing to him in the first place. And everyone's like, Cody's always trying to make himself the face. He really hasn't been in the main event picture. When's the last time Cody was in the main event picture? Do you remember?
I guess it depends on like how you define the main event, but he, I guess you could say maybe the match he had with MJF, really, because I remember he had a match with Jericho, right, that he lost because MJF threw in the towel, and then MJF turned on him. He had that match. He lost that, and then he ended up slipping, I think, into the TNT title, that whole area. So that's the last time I remember him being at that, at that level in terms of like the main event.
Okay, so yeah, I don't think he should really be ragged on as much as he is. I kind of feel bad for him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm with you. So we have 2 matches left, they're both title matches. The AEW Women's World Championship is Hikaru Shida defending against the #1 contender, Dr. Britt Baker. DM.
Britt Baker fucking rules. I gotta give you all the credit in the world. You've been on the Britt Baker train for as long as I can remember. You've been a huge Britt Baker. I was like, she's okay. I didn't really get it. I am so fucking on the Britt Baker hype train. I've bought 2 tickets to the hype train that Joe has been on since the beginning. Britt Baker's really like the best thing in AEW women's division and almost AEW as a whole. She gets a title here, well deserved, and then there's so many options for her. Chris Statlander, you could go to. Did you see who was training at the Nightmare Factory?
I did not.
Tessa Blanchard and Daga were there. You're a huge Tessa Blanchard fan, I know. But there's no short. She's a good wrestler, but wrestler. She's pretty good. There are no shortage of challengers for Britt Baker. So I think Britt Baker gets the win. I
agree with you. Britt Baker, 100%. Time. It's been long overdue, as far as I'm concerned, for her to get the championship.
MD.
And
I want to see Tony's celebration, by the way. Love
yes, I'm looking forward to that as well. She just had a great run with it, but she's had it for a long time. Time for a change. Baker's been the focus of the division for a while now, as she should be, and I think she's going to get the title. And
we could have a rematch with Thunder Rosa, Serena Deeb. And dude, when Britt Baker posted a couple weeks ago that she was FaceTiming Tony Schiavone at like 9:30 at night, and he didn't respond, and like she posted it, she's like, "You're in deep shit, Tony." It popped me. It's so good. I love Britt Baker and Tony Schiavone.
So finally, we have the main event, which is Kenny Omega defending the AEW Championship against both Pac and Orange Cassidy. Pac and Orange Cassidy had a match on Dynamite a couple weeks ago that was supposed to go to a draw, and it actually wound up in a situation where Orange Cassidy was legitimately hurt during the match, and they went to called an audible, as they say, and had Omega come out and interfere and hit Pac with the title belt. Long story short, they're now having a triple threat match at the pay-per-view on Sunday night, May 30th. It's Double or Nothing, and it's listen. I don't know. I feel like this one's been thrown together a little bit. I'm sure the match will be good. I don't see Omega losing the title. He's right in the middle of this belt collector, type situation. It still feels fresh with him being with the Bucks and the rest of the Elite and Bullet Club. So I don't see him losing really in any way, shape, or form. I think he'll get the win. Maybe Orange Cassidy takes the loss, and they'll move into an Omega Pac one-on-one feud, perhaps, and then go from there.
Yep, in 100% agreement. I was kind of down on that match. Joe. I was down on the match between Pac and Orange Cassidy because I didn't see. Did you see it happen when it happened, and you saw he was injured or no?
I missed it, and then I turned it on right after the commercial break where they came back, and he was kind of down in the corner being checked on by the trainers, and Pac was kind of trying to keep busy in the ring until Omega and Callis came out, and it went from there. So I heard it was a power bomb of some sort, right? Is that what ended up hurting him?
Well, that was my question too. I don't know if I could send you a gift. He took fucking like the stiffest super kick I've ever seen, and then he kind of stumbled, and then Pac went to powerbomb him, and Cassidy didn't get up for the powerbomb, so Pac just fucking muscled him up, which is why I think he had such a shitty landing on the powerbomb. So I'm not sure if it was a combination of the two.
Yeah.
A couple things. That show was live. Shit happens. I can't imagine, like, you're in the back. Let's say you're Tony Khan. This match, the winner gets a title shot, and you see that happen, and Aubrey Edwards hits you in the back, and she's like, just so you know, he's out. It's like, holy shit, what do you do? That is, like, really quick thinking. I think they did a really good job there. Which second occasion for Omega in how long? Because they said when he wrestled Rich Swann knocked himself out, and then he was pretty much carrying like a limp Rich Swann through the rest of the match, and they said Swann was out of shape, whatever it might be. So weird situation. I also, like you, I kind of feel like it was thrown together. I can't help but wonder if they had other plans and something fell through. They also announced Andrade El Idolo versus Omega at Triple Mania. I think it's July 18th something. So you want Omega to go into something like that monstrous match as the bell collector, I think. However, July is right around Slammiversary, right? That's a pay-per-view. That's when everybody's contracts come up. Talking about my prediction a couple weeks ago, I said Samoa Joe comes back and takes the belt from Kenny Omega. There's so many moving parts to this. It's not the time for Kenny Omega to lose the title yet. He's done a very good job with it, and I hate him more and more each week. Him and Don Callis are insufferable, and I think it's great. So I say Kenny Omega keeps the title. My other point is, I want to ask your opinion too, Joe. The last two big events, Blood and Guts and the Time Bomb show, the Firebomb show, whatever the fuck it was called. There was so much going into those shows, and the endings were not good, right? The pyro didn't go off, and then Jericho's fall made it look like shit, and you had so much riding on that it was kind of a letdown. In this show, you don't have that. You don't have something where you're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? You just have what on paper looks like a very solid wrestling show, and I think in the fans' minds, that'll benefit them in the long run, especially for this show.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only match that I could think of that's kind of like that is the Stadium Stampede, just because it's got the Inner Circle split up on the line. But other than that, yeah, everything is really built around having good wrestling matches. And I think that's really AEW should be focusing on more, right? Is making sure that they are delivering that in-ring product that is superior to any other company in the United States, because they have the capability of doing that. The more I think they do some of those gimmicky things, like you said, with the ring blowing up, which didn't work out well for them. The Jericho spot, which, I mean, it's people I think were harder on it than it needed to be, but at the same time, like I don't think it was needed for that. They could have done something else to lead to that finish. But, I get what they were going for. But yeah, I think when they focus on the in-ring product and they have a lot of great in-ring talent and a lot of great personalities that they can work with, that's really what they should be focusing on. So I think that maybe at the end, when we review this show, we might say that it's one of the better in-ring shows of the year because of that. So hopefully it'll benefit them and they'll have more of a positive buzz coming out of this show than they have the last couple of big ones.
Yeah, I think people will look at it more favorably because there isn't that, oh my God, I have to see this. I have to see what happens. And then you get your expectations up so high, and anything other than like fucking John Moxley blowing up like it's Rambo 3 is like, oh, that's such a letdown. Or the Jericho thing. I think got a lot, like there was so much more criticism than there should have been around that. Yes, it didn't look good. They probably, all you had to do was shoot it differently. I mean, they could have done something where it was like the end of Magnum TA versus Tully Blanchard had a spike in the eye, something like that would, but and the other thing about the Jericho bump, not to get on a soapbox here, I don't give a fuck what you're falling on. You're literally falling backwards, not looking where you're going, 12 feet high off of a cage, right? Like the guy's 50 plus years old. He doesn't have to do that. When you watch that bump, you're like, dude, you're looking forward. You're just hoping you land. That's got to be absolutely terrifying. So that's my soapbox rant for that. I mean, it could be worse. It could have been zombies, right?
You never know. You never know. It is apparently it's zombie season now. So that's what I hear. So
really,
I have no idea. No, I just made that up. No, I mean, it could be zombie, could be a zombie attack, could be RoboCop. We don't know. Anything can happen.
Dude, RoboCop fucking ruled, and he saved Sting from Ole Anderson and the Horsemen.
And that's what I'm saying. Sting is on this card. That's what I'm saying.
Also, the Black Scorpion could come back and attack. There's so many options, man. So many things you could do. If you want options, you're looking for options. I know you're sitting there thinking the summer's coming, right? The weather's getting warmer. What better way to outfit yourself than with some all night long wrestling podcast paraphernalia. Head over to Redbubble. It's an app. Download the app. It's very, very simple. Download Redbubble. Type in all night long wrestling podcast. We got some, we got everything on there from beer koozies. We got tank tops. We got hoodies. We got everything you need. Check it out. We have some cool merch on there, and it supports animal rescue. So fucking be a good person. Don't hashtag stop being a piece of shit and support animal rescue. Also, check us out on everywhere you social media at All Night Long WP. Go to YouTube, type in wrestling headlines, follow us over there. Instagram, everything, man. At All Night Long WP. I post some dumb shit. I post some really cool gifs. I mean, I'm not beating you over the head with posts. We just want you to listen to our stuff, watch our stuff, appreciate it, like, subscribe. And Joe, as Joe mentioned, go to iTunes, All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. Give us a like, give us a little click. Anything above 2 stars, I will take it. I have very low standards. Speaking of low standards, that's it for another edition of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. He is your host. I'm not your host. He's good looking. I'm fat. He's a stallion. I'm the enforcer, and we're tapping out.